नमस्ते, आदाब। मैं महनाज नडियाडवाला आज आपके सामने विमेनिस्तान टॉक शो पेश करने जा रही हूँ। रज़िया मशकूर बीडीसी टीवी यूएसए से मैं जुड़ गई इसलिए क्योंकि वो मेरा दर्द, इंडिया की परेशानी को समझ सकती है, क्योंकि वो भी अलीगढ़ से है, इंडिया से है। आज आपके सामने बैठी हूँ एक नई सोच लेकर, एक नया जज्बा लेकर, एक नई भावना लेकर। और बोलने के लिए तो इट विल साउंड वेरी क्लीशेड कि औरत फिर खड़ी हो गई फेमिनिज्म, एम्पावरमेंट की बात करने, मगर ये एक समस्या है जो खत्म ही नहीं हो रही है। तो जब तक इस समस्या के समाधान नहीं मिलता तो हम तो इस बारे में बात करते रहेंगे। हमारा हक तो बनता है ना कि इसका अंत क्यों नहीं आता, कि औरतें कब तक चीखेंगी, कब तक रोएंगी, कब तक बेटियां मरेंगी, कब तक रेप होगा 6 साल की बच्ची का, कब तक छोटी बच्चियों को रेप करके झाड़ियों में फेंका जाएगा। इसलिए मैं जुड़ी हूं आज। एक मेरी हमदर्द, एक मेरी बड़ी आपा, एक मेरी बहन के जैसी है रज़िया मशकूर, जिनको मैं मिली थी IIFB के फेस्टिवल पर बॉस्टन में, जब मेरी पिक्चर इट्स अ गर्ल जो मैंने टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया के साथ मिलकर मीडिया पार्टनर्स, मेरे की पार्टनर्स के साथ की थी, तो उसका अवार्ड लेने में 3 अवार्ड लेने गई थी IIFB पर। एक था बेस्ट डेब्यू प्रोड्यूसर का, एक विनीत जी के लिए अवार्ड लिया था टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया के लिए, और एक डैडी को लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड मिला था। वहां पर मेरी मुलाकात और बहुत दोस्ती हो गई रज़िया मशकूर से। तो वो मेरे दिल की भावना, मेरी सोच साथ जुड़ गई। और उस वक्त हमने डिसाइड किया कि हम विमेनिस्तान करके इस पर एक पिक्चर मुझे बनाना था। मगर अभी जो कोविड का इश्यू चल रहा है, तो मैंने कहा सब घर में बैठे हैं, द बेस्ट थिंग वुड बी टू एड्रेस द टॉपिक ऑफ विमेन एम्पावरमेंट, विमेन इश्यूज, विमेन हैरेसमेंट, रेप्स, मेंटल अब्यूज, मैरिटल रेप्स, so many different issues that women are going through, job placements, and what better way than having a talk show। और जो फिलवक्त हालात चल रहे हैं, जो कल हुआ, जो एक बच्ची, तीसरी बच्ची थी और बाप ने और माँ ने वो बच्ची को बेच दिया, उससे तो हमारे ज़मीर पूरे हिल गए, झिंझोड़ गए। और हम जो चाह रहे थे जिस तरीके से ग्रैंड तरीके से लॉन्च करना इस शो को, वो इसलिए रुक गया कि हमने कहा कि पहले हम इस मुद्दे पे बात करें। अब आप ये जानना चाहोगे कि विमेनिस्तान टॉक शो है किस बारे में। विमेनिस्तान टॉक शो मैंने इसलिए शुरुआत की है क्योंकि ये एक प्लेटफॉर्म हो जिसपे सिर्फ वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू टॉक, बट वी वुड लाइक टू वॉक द टॉक एंड अंडरस्टैंड कि इसका सोल्यूशन क्या है। अगर हम औरतों में कोई गलती है तो हम वो सुधारने की कोशिश करेंगे। अगर हम बेवजह आदमियों के ऊपर कोई लांछन लगाते हैं या उन्हें जबरदस्ती कोई रॉन्ग तरीके से फंसाने की कोशिश करें तो हम वो भी करेक्ट करेंगे। हम उन औरतों को रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि #MeToo पर भी वो ध्यान दें। ये सिर्फ औरतों के लिए नहीं है शो, ये उन मर्दों के लिए भी है हु कैन कम टू दिस प्लेटफॉर्म एंड से कि उनके साथ नाइंसाफी हुई है और उनको झूठे इल्जाम में फंसाया गया है। तो विमेनिस्तान इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट विमेन, इट्स ऑल्सो अबाउट द मेन इन द लाइफ। एंड विमेनिस्तान के बारे में मैं क्या कहूँ, कहाँ से शुरुआत करें हम। बेटी बचाओ कि बेटी को अपनी माँ की कोख में ना मारो। जब वो बड़ी होती है तो उसको, बेटे को अगर कुछ दिया जा रहा है खाने, तो बच्ची को बोला जाता है कि छोड़ दे, वो बड़े भाई के लिए, या तेरा भाई खाएगा, ये भाई के लिए रखा है अलग से। तो बच्ची बोलती है मुझे क्यों नहीं दिया गया। या बच्ची को कहा जाता है कि नहीं, तुझे उतना नहीं पढ़ाएंगे जितना भाई को पढ़ाएंगे, क्योंकि तुझे तो किसी के घर जाना है शादी करके, तुझे अपने पांव पर खड़ा नहीं रहना है, तुझे तो शादी करनी है। तो तुझे वो पढ़ाई लिखाई हम नहीं देंगे जो हम अपने बेटे को देना चाहते हैं। अब पढ़ाई के बाद जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज औरतों के लिए सही नहीं है। आप यही देख लीजिए, आई डोंट वांट टू नेम एनी नेम ऑफ कंपनीज, मगर क्या कोटा है औरत के लिए कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर के अंदर, आप ही जानते हो क्या कोटा है। 1% और 2% के ऊपर तो लेडीज के लिए प्लेसमेंट नहीं है। अब उसके बाद आप शादी का देख लीजिए, डाउरी इशू, डाउरी के बाद आप देख लीजिए हैरेसमेंट इश्यूज, सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट्स, मैरिटल रेप। तो कहां पर हम शुरुआत करें और कहां पर हम खत्म करें, और ये कब तक चलेगा। इस बारे में इसलिए ये टॉक शो हमने यहाँ पर लाए कि मैं ये चाहती हूँ कि ये मेरा एक जज्बा है। This is my reach to all my women out there and all the NGOs and to the government and to the media that enough is enough. You call us mother, you call your धरती mother earth, ये भारत हमारी माँ है, और आप माँ के साथ ऐसा करते हो, उसका शोषण करते हो, उसे रेप करते हो, उसको पढ़ाने का हक नहीं मिलता है, उसके इनहेरिटेंस के राइट्स मुस्लिम्स में चले गए। But I am saying that from alimony to maintenance to meher, where are the Muslim women standing in India? Don't we have a right like the Hindu girls that we should have equal inheritance? Should we not get our maintenance, our meher, and men are doing marriage after marriage, polygamy issues? There is a lot happening, but we cannot be aggressive and address these issues and remove a solution. कोई भी चीज गुस्से में खराब हो जाती है और उसको समझकर, सबका सपोर्ट लेकर, समझदारी से, वेरी स्लोली बट श्योरली इस चीज को हमें आगे लाना है। और उस चीज के लिए मेरी बहुत सारी फ्रेंड्स हैं, पर्सनल फ्रेंड्स। सबसे पहले तो मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। आई एम रियली ब्लेस्ड टू हैव रजिया मशकूर to partner with me for this talk show. Then number one, my friend Rulanali Deshmukh, who also did the launch of my book It's a Girl. She stood by me from day one. Then Priyanka Chopra's mother, Madhu Chopra, is a good friend of mine. Shobha Dev, Prasad Biddappa sir, Mrs. Nandita Puri, Aisha Mushtaq. There are so many names that I can tell you. All the friends, and as Sandeep Verma, the Baroness of the UK Parliament, I'm extremely grateful to her too. And so many other friends who have stepped up and given me video bites. And it is for, and Zareen Khan, Zilla Khan. I have so many names, and if I have forgotten even one, please excuse me. क्या हो रहा है आज इस देश के अंदर and all over the world, इंडिया में तो बहुत ज्यादा। तो मेरी ये आप सबसे विनती है, सबसे गुजारिश है कि आप सब मिल जाएं और इस इशू को जो हम सामने लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, ऑल द डिफरेंट इश्यूज, इसमें आप हाथ दें, अपने आइडियाज बांटें और हमें बताएं कि इसका हल क्या है। आई नीड द सपोर्ट ऑफ द मीडिया, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली आई नीड द सपोर्ट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, आई नीड द सपोर्ट ऑफ द NGOs, and I need the support of every man and every woman and every young girl to understand that she needs to stand on her feet and be financially independent. And enough is enough. We are not going to create a ruckus and fight with the men, but we need pragmatic, positive, disciplined solutions to this. This is my koshish and this is what I am trying to do by getting this Womenistan platform, and I need all your support. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Razia Mashkoor from BDC TV. 2 साल पहले महनाज बॉस्टन आई थी मेरे इंडिया इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑफ बॉस्टन में, और हमारी बड़ी अच्छी बात रही और तभी उन्होंने जिक्र किया था कि मैं विमेनिस्तान करना चाहती हूँ। और ये इतना खूबसूरत नाम था कि आई जस्ट जम्प्ड इन, और मैंने उनको बोला था कि आप कुछ भी करोगी, आई विल बी विद यू। एंड सी इन 2 years वी आर हेयर टुगेदर लॉन्चिंग अवर फर्स्ट एपिसोड ऑफ विमेनिस्तान टॉक शो। हमारा बड़ा अच्छा प्रोग्राम था कि हम इसको बहुत ही अच्छे से रिलीज़ करेंगे और वी वर सो एक्साइटेड। लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगस्त 13 को इंडिया में एक घर में बच्ची पैदा हुई और फादर, क्योंकि वो तीसरी बच्ची थी, तीसरी बेटी थी, इसलिए फादर ने उसको सेल कर दिया। और ये ऐसी न्यूज़ थी जो हमने सुनी विमेनिस्तान के प्लेटफॉर्म से, और वी वर शॉक्ड। मैं और महनाज दोनों को बहुत ही ताज्जुब हुआ कि हिंदुस्तान में आज भी हमारे बहनों के साथ, हमारी माँओं के साथ इस तरह के केसेस हो रहे हैं जो बहुत ही शर्मनाक हैं। और इसी वजह से हमने अपना प्रोग्राम, जो हम एक बहुत अच्छा सा सेलिब्रिटी और केस के साथ लॉन्च करने वाले थे, हमने उसको पोस्टपोन किया। और हमने सोचा कि हम पहले अपने बारे में बात करें कि वाई वी आर स्टार्टेड दिस। जो आप सबको पता है कि विमेन इश्यूज नॉट ओनली इन इंडिया बट अराउंड द ग्लोब बहुत ज़्यादा शोर है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली जब ये ख़बर हमने पढ़ी थी कल, तो हमारा पूरा प्रोग्राम चेंज हो गया और हमने सोचा कि हम पहले अपने बारे में बात करेंगे, क्योंकि इस खबर ने हमें याद दिलाया कि हमारे माँ बाप ने हमें किस तरह पाला है। वी आर 7 सिस्टर्स, तो 7 बहनें हैं, हमारा कोई भाई भी नहीं, और उसके बावजूद हमारे पेरेंट्स ने 7 बेटियों को शहजादियों की तरह पाला है। और हम में से 7 बहनों में से हर एक ने ये फील किया है कि आई एम द सिंगल चाइल्ड और आई एम अ सिंगल डॉटर ऑफ अवर पेरेंट और माई पेरेंट। उसकी वजह सिर्फ ये थी कि हमारे घर में, यानी मेरे जो पेरेंट्स हैं, वो उनके लिए इस कोई तफरीक नहीं थी, कोई डिफरेंस नहीं था बेटे या बेटी में। एक्चुअली अगर हम देखें और मैं अपनी पूरी ज़िंदगी को देखूं, तो पापा ने, मम्मी ने जिस तरह स्ट्रगल करके, क्योंकि वी आर कमिंग फ्रॉम मिडिल क्लास फैमिली, हमारे पास बहुत कुछ था, ज़रूरत की सारी चीज़ें थी, और बहुत कुछ नहीं था, अननेसेसरी चीज़ें हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं थी। और कभी कभी हालात बहुत सख्त भी रहे, हमने बहुत स्ट्रगल भी देखे हैं। 19 से जब पापा ने फैक्ट्री बेची थी और हम बाहर निकले थे, वहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक का जो सफ़र है हमारा, वो बहुत ही मैं ये नहीं कहूँगी कि तकलीफ़ का था, क्योंकि अप्स एंड डाउन सबकी ज़िंदगी में होते हैं, हमारी ज़िंदगी में भी थे। लेकिन जो प्लस पॉइंट था वो ये था कि पापा हमारे साथ खड़े हुए थे। अगर मैं एमए के बाद एमफिल ज्वाइन कर रही हूँ, तो हमारी ये ज़ुबानें कितनी ज़्यादा हैं सबकी। उन ज़ुबानों में ये होता था कि क्यों पढ़ा रहे हो, 7 बेटियां हैं और जल्दी जल्दी शादी कर दो। तो पापा को बहुत गुस्सा आता था, एंड पापा कहते थे कि मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ ना, और वो जो 7 बेटियां जो करना चाहती हैं वो करेंगी, जब शादी करना चाहती हैं जब शादी करेंगी। मेरी तरफ से उनके ऊपर कोई पाबंदी नहीं है, और मैं आपसे मांगने नहीं आऊँगा अपनी बेटियों के लिए कुछ भी। तो उन्होंने हमें अच्छे से स्पॉइल कर दिया था। एक्चुअली हम कभी कभी पापा से लड़ते भी थे, मम्मी से भी हमारी शिकायतें रहती थी कि आपने हमारे अंदर जो एक औरत की नज़ाकत को जानकर मानकर उसको ऑप्रेस किया गया है। भाई औरत नाजुक है इसलिए कुछ नहीं कर सकती, औरत नाजुक है इसलिए ये नहीं कर सकती, औरत को घर में रहना चाहिए। इस तरह की जो सोच थी, मेरे पेरेंट्स उसके बिल्कुल अगेंस्ट थे। पापा, अगर हमें सब्ज़ी की ज़रूरत है और घर में कोई नहीं है लाने वाला, तो पापा कहते तो जाओ लेकर आओ। तो पापा, हाँ, लड़कियाँ सब्ज़ी लेने कब जाती हैं? तो कहते थे लड़कियाँ सब्ज़ी खाती हैं ना, तो ला भी सकती हैं। तो उस तरह हमें उन्होंने एक टॉम बॉय की तरह बना दिया कि भाई अपने काम करो। तो उस वक्त हमारी समझ में नहीं आता था, हमें लगता था कि पापा कुछ ज़्यादा ही हमारे ऊपर बोझ डाल रहे हैं काम का, या मम्मी हमें सपोर्ट नहीं कर रही है। आज हम ये वाली बात कह सकते हैं, बहुत ही गर्व से, बहुत ही प्राउडली फील करते हैं कि वो असल में हमारी तरबियत कर रहे थे। दे आर मेकिंग अस सो स्ट्रॉन्ग। वो नहीं चाहते थे कि उनकी बच्चे किसी पर डिपेंड रहें सिवाय अल्लाह के। वो नहीं चाहते थे कि हम ज़रा सी चीज़ों के लिए इसकी शक्ल देखें। तो एक औरत की ज़िंदगी में बाप का जो रोल है ना, वो इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग है कि वो बेटी को बेटा बना के पाल दें, तो बेटी बेटे से ज़्यादा आपके काम आती है और आपसे प्यार करती है, आपकी मदद करती है। कितनी इमोशनल कहानियाँ हमारे पास हैं जो हम शेयर कर सकते हैं और करेंगे। हमारा तो सिलसिला आज शुरू हो रहा है, मगर मैं इस वक्त एक बात ज़रूर कहना चाहूँगी कि हर लड़की की ज़िंदगी में 5 जो मेंस होते हैं वो बहुत अहमियत के हामिल होते हैं, और इनमें से अगर 2-3 भी बेटी को, लड़की को या औरत को सपोर्ट कर दें, तो वो लड़की या महनाज बनती है या रज़िया बनती है। क्योंकि और वो 5 मर्द कौन हैं? आपके फादर, आपका भाई, फादर इन लॉ, आपके हस्बैंड और आपका बेटा। अब जब मैं ये देख रही हूँ कि कोई इमोशन नहीं है उस आदमी में कि अपनी बेटी को जाके बेच के आ गया, आप एक बार ज़रा सोच के बताइए कि अगर ये तीसरी बेटी की जगह बेटा होता तो क्या वो उसको बेच सकता था? आज तुम कह रहे हो कि हम इसलिए क्योंकि मेरे पास खिलाने के लिए नहीं है। अगर खिलाने के लिए नहीं है तो पैदा क्यों किया था? तो बेटा अगर होता तो वो उसको नहीं सेल करता। बेटी है और तीसरी है इसलिए सेल कर दो। तो ये जो एक मानसिकता है, ये जो हमारी यहाँ एक बहुत ही गंदी सोच है मेल डोमिनेटेड सोसाइटी में, वो ख़त्म होनी चाहिए। और हमारे पास इसी तरह के बहुत सारे सवाल हैं और इन सवालों का हम न सिर्फ जवाब तलाश करेंगे बल्कि हम ये भी देखेंगे कि उनका हल क्या हो, कैसे उनको हल किया जाए सवालों को। चाहे हमें उसके लिए NGOs के पास जाना पड़े, चाहे अपनी NGOs के थ्रू हम इसको करें, या पॉलिटिकल लेवल पर लोगों से बात करनी पड़े या इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे बात करनी पड़े। वी विल फाइट फॉर द राइट, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि आपने बच्ची को पैदा हुई बच्ची को बेच दिया, या आप ड्रम में डाल गए, या आपने रेप करवा दिया। 6 साल की बच्ची का रेप होकर उसको कांटों में फेंक दिया जाता है। बूढ़ी औरतों का रेप, आई रिमेंबर इंडिया में जब मैं थी, मैंने देखा कि एक पागल औरत सड़कों पे दौड़ती थी, कुछ दिन के बाद पता चला कि उसका पेट है। शेम ऑन यू, एक पागल जो बेचारी जहन से माजूर है, जिससे पता नहीं उसके साथ क्या हो रहा है, आपने उसको भी नहीं छोड़ा। मैं कहूँ अगर सही लफ्ज़ इनके लिए इस्तेमाल करूँ तो ये जो सारी हिमाकतें हैं इनको अब रुकना होगा, इनको अब ख़त्म होना होगा, क्योंकि ये आवाज़ एज इन फेमिनिस्ट नहीं है। आप ये मत समझिए कि मैं फेमिनिस्ट हूँ, ये फेमिनिस्ट की आवाज़ नहीं है, ये हक़ की आवाज़ है, ये हक़ की आवाज़ है। आप अभी ट्रिपल तलाक का आप सबको पता है कितना शोर हुआ, लेकिन क्या ट्रिपल तलाक इज़ द ओनली रीज़न? No, there is halala. There is so many stupid things going on in women's life, and we are मैं and Mehnaz created this platform Womenistan Talk Show, and हमारा जो सफ़र है वो अब शुरू हो रहा है। हम चाहेंगे कि आप सब इस सफ़र में हमारे साथ शामिल हो जाएं और जितना भी मुमकिन हो इस कॉज को सपोर्ट करें, हमारे लिए रिसोर्सेज पैदा करें ताकि हमारी जर्नी जारी रह सके। और बहुत सारी ब्यूटीफुल वंडरफुल वीमेंस ऑलरेडी कनेक्टेड विद अस, एंड आई एम श्योर कि ऑल दीज वीमेन जॉइंड हैंड्स एंड हम लोग सब मिलकर औरत की ज़िंदगी में, चाहे वो अमेरिका हो चाहे वो इंडिया हो, हम कुछ नहीं चाहते, हमें हमारा हक दे दो बस। वो हक जो हमें हमारी हुकूमत देती है, वो हक जो हमें हमारा समाज देता है, और वो हक जो हमें हमारा रिलीजन देता है। इसके अलावा हम आपसे एक्स्ट्रा कुछ नहीं मांग रहे हैं। एंड वी आर हम्बली रिक्वेस्टिंग कि आप हमें बदनाम करने के बजाय नाम के साथ ऊपर उठाइए और हमसे वो काम दीजिए जिसके लिए कुदरत ने हमें पैदा किया। श्योर के हम विल डू इट इंशाल्लाह। So stay with us. Next week, next episode, we will have, as promised, one celebrity for you, और उनकी कहानी सुनेंगे। Thank you so much for listening us today. So hello everyone. As you know that we are launching our new talk show on women issues, which is called Womenistan. Womenistan is a word that means the world of women, one woman at a time. So I'm so happy that it's a brainchild of Mehnaz Nadiadwala. She brought that name and concept to me, and I just jumped in because I love that name. So I have a privilege that you and Mehnaz and everybody join this very needed cause. And Mehnaz, I would like to introduce you Robert. Robert is our congressman of our next state, which is called Rhode Island. So but he is very, very supportive for women cause and Indians who are living in Rhode Island and all Massachusetts and New England area. He is very nice, very, very helpful. Wherever we need him, he will be there always, day and night. So we are very privileged that we are living next to him in Massachusetts. And Robert Mehnaz, as I said, that she is a partner in crime with me, and she has a lot of things she is doing for women. So, Mehnaz, would you like to introduce yourself?
Robert, what I was saying, first and foremost, a hearty welcome, a very warm welcome to the talk show of Womenistan. And it's a pleasure, it's a privilege to have someone from Boston and who's running for the Congress at Rhode Island to have us on our first talk show. And let me say a little bit about myself. Being a very humble person, humility for me is more important than tom-tomming about myself. But since you need to know about me, so I'll give a very brief, detail about myself. I have 2 kids. First and foremost, I am a mother, and I'm a Hindustani, and I love my country. I love USA. I've traveled there a couple of times, many times. In fact, I love Boston. My son's studying there. And also, I have a daughter. She's finished her BLLB honors this year. So hopefully she's planning to come for her LLM. I've got my honorary doctorate in strategic management with specialization in global and cultural issues.
Wow.
So I've received my Mother Teresa Award in Social Service for the girl child educational purposes.
Wow.
Then I've been an assistant governor, not an assistant director. I think Razia misspelled it.
Yeah.
Assistant governor 2016 in the Rotary of Karnataka. I was heading the Karnataka state in India as a Rotarian, as assistant governor.
Wow.
And the Institute of Directors in UK, where you have the IOD. I'm the alumni for it. So once a year I'm lucky to get invited to the House of Lords.
Wow.
So yeah, that's all like wow. So, that's meet with the creme de la creme and the most super intelligent people over there, and the Britishers, and I've visited a couple of Rotaries in America, in California. So I've been a Rotarian, mostly visited more of in the West Coast. Then I authored a book called It's a Girl. It talks about the girl child, save the girl child issue. Where in India, it's like a big thing where if a lady is carrying a girl child and if the family finds out that it's a girl, they usually get the sonography done and have an abortion for her.
Oh my goodness.
So that's like a huge issue in India.
Very common thing, yeah.
So I stood up, and the media of India, like you have New York Times, like this we have Times of India, they joined me for the cause, and it was a huge cause. And I made a film, then I got globally touched with 22 awards for the movie and all 22 international festivals. And one of them was Razia's IIFP award, where I flew down as the chief guest and with on the red carpet with the tail gown and stuff and all.
Wow. Oh
the
my
work. And then I did a second book called Strategic Management, which is on Amazon. The third one which I'm doing is called Womenistan. And it will be published maybe after like 2 months or 1.5 months. So during this COVID time, I realized, I said, let's have a talk show where women empowerment discussions and, we come together and talk about the different issues in different countries and how to tackle, whether it's a hashtag Me Too or whether it's a Womenistan or a cause for women. So I said, let me partner with my friend and my partner in crime and good deeds, Razia Mashkoor, so that we can take it to a level where people out there can come together and think tank. It's like a think tank platform.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on with you and two such accomplished women. So thank you so much. Yes, both of you. Yes, very talented, very beautiful, both of you. Thank you so much.
So much. Thank you.
Robert, tell me about what's going on right now in your life and around you in this unfortunate times. after that, Mehnaz has some question to ask, so she will take care from them.
Sure. You know, it's an interesting topic today because my wife, Marianne, actually, you know, I'm running for Congress right now. Well, my wife is running for my old state representative seat right now. So it's going to be interesting to get the two Lanciers running for office, one for state representative and one for congressional representative. So it's interesting. But, you know, talking about women and women's issues, my wife, Marianne, she says over and over again, I don't know, you're in Boston, so you know how big the Dunkin' Donuts brand is. Well, my wife, when she was much younger, before I met her, wanted to open a series of Dunkin' Donuts franchises. But back then, no financing for women. A woman couldn't get a loan. So she says, as we drive around our capital city here in Providence, Rhode Island, she says, see that corner where that's Dunkin' Donuts? That would have been mine. See that corner, that would have been mine. Every spot she said I thought of, there's a Dunkin' Donuts there. But, you know, that just goes to show you, you know, early on. And also, my wife is so talented in so many ways. I say to her all the time, you know, she wanted to be in a state employee working for the Rhode Island Tax Division as a revenue officer special investigator. But she's so talented, like you ladies are in so many areas. I say to her more than once, you could have been a doctor. And I know we have a lot of India friends, females who are doctors. And in fact, Raj Gupta, dear friend, his wife, Dr. Raju Singla, in fact, owns part of her own practice.
Yep.
But I said to my wife, Marianne, all the time, I said, you should have been a doctor. But again, those were the times when, you know, women weren't thought of to go into those kind of professions. She was a good Catholic schoolgirl. You talk about Hinduism, and I'm a Baptist, and she went to a Catholic school for girls up to grade 12. There was no thought to go to college. It was, you know, work in an office or get a trade or something like that. So it's funny how things have changed, you know, and now we talk about breaking the glass ceiling, things like that. So I so appreciate what you are both doing because, you know, say a couple of decades ago, that probably wouldn't have been possible even here in the States. So I appreciate that. Myself, former Navy chaplain, I'm a disabled vet, 3 right shoulder replacements. I missed the Vietnam era, volunteered at 40 to go on active duty, had a great career, first exchange with the Canadian military, lived in Halifax, Nova Scotia for a couple of years, and even did a UN peacekeeping mission, went down to Haiti. So I've been around a little bit and overseas, but yes, we've become particularly close. I'm a Republican running for Congress from Rhode Island, a very blue state. We say blue Democrat, red Republican. But essentially, you know, as I travel around, it's amazing to me, my party, the Republican Party of Rhode Island, has not been involved in the minority communities. And so my wife and I, we're 2 older white Republicans, but I've said to my party, the Republican Party of Rhode Island, I said, you know, our state of Rhode Island is now 40% Latino, 6% Black. We have, of course, the Indian community, Cambodian, Laotian, different communities, Latino. I said, until you get into these communities and get involved and understand these people, you know, you're not going to win many elections. So, you know, we got involved in the different communities, but the one we've become closest to, as you know, is the India community. Rhode Island first, then Massachusetts, and now Connecticut, friends in Connecticut too. So, yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Yep.
Wonderful. As we both are Muslim, me and Mehnaz, and I know there is so many Muslims living in Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So, do you have their interactions and connection with them too?
Yes, I do. Basically more with a couple of the religious leaders, you know, specifically, but, you know, again, part of that community when we go into Providence. Providence is really concentrated community with a lot of ethnicities. And so my wife and I do spend a lot of time with the various groups, yes, even the Muslim groups in Providence. So yes, absolutely. And we recently just had a vigil up at the State House for, you know, some of the events that have been going on, and was meeting with some of the Muslim imams. So yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So I'm just curious, as a common, rumors that Muslim women are not coming out and they are not doing anything, and they have some restrictions from religions. And do you see this in Muslim women?
It's interesting you say that. I do not see the Muslim women being particularly active, whether it's with social issues or social activism, or running for office, or they're running businesses. So yes, I don't think I can disagree with you on that. I think there is an element of that. I see a lot of Latino women, certainly a lot of Indian women, Laotian, Cambodian, and the Latino, they don't like to be lumped into one group, Puerto Rican and Colombian, and but these people are very active. But yeah, you're right about the Muslim women. I don't see as much, and I travel around quite a bit, so does Marianne. Don't see a lot of Muslim women being involved. No, I don't.
Okay, thank you so much. And Mehnaz, Robert is yours right now.
Here's mine. Hey, Robert. So
Hi.
I have a few questions. If you allow me, I would ask you, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a politician, what is your take on women's freedom?
Well, let's face it. I think we still have some ways to go, but we're certainly doing a lot better. Even here in Rhode Island at the State House, the number of women who are serving in the legislature now is incredible. It's growing each and every year, and that's great because there's particular issues for women that I don't think men can be sensitive to, and things that they find more important than say men do. That's one of the reasons my wife is running. Because she has an interest in women and women's issues and women succeeding. And so we need to continue to work on that. Now, we've done initiatives, of course, as you know, around the world, but here in Rhode Island and in the States, we're working on providing more opportunities. We talk about for the minorities all the time, and, and our African Americans and all the different groups. But even just white women, Caucasian women, there's still challenges as well. And so with opening businesses and even being taken seriously sometimes when they are running for office and things like that. So it's an issue still, and but it's being worked on, and gladly and happily there's been more success year after year, but we've got a ways to go.
And do you see women more coming into corporate lines, as in percentages that is allotted to the women in the corporate world?
Well, I read 4 newspapers a day, so I try to look at these kind of things. Yes, there certainly are more women becoming the heads of businesses, CEOs, and things like that, but still the numbers are still fairly low. And so, I like to see that that's happening more and more. It's interesting what the head of PepsiCo happens to be an Indian woman, and I think Microsoft is an Indian gentleman, and we've got a few other folks, even a couple here in Rhode Island that, Indian gentlemen. So yeah, we're seeing some of that, but we certainly need to do more.
So it's work in progress.
Yes, it is.
And how do you see Indo-American women living there together? And the cultures, their communications and relationships.
Well, the first thing, and Raza has heard me say this, but one of the things for me, and I'm again a Baptist minister, former Navy chaplain, disabled vet, but I think it's important, the nuclear family. We have too many broken families today here in the States, and it's leading to a lot of social issues, a lot of social problems. And one of the things that impresses me the most about the India community is the nuclear family, a mom, a dad, and the kids. And the moms are just as successful and just as talented as the men are, and they both many times are leading successful careers. But still, you're talking about your children and how they've succeeded. I'm not surprised every time I go to an event when I'm hearing what the children are doing, where they're going to school, what they're going to be. It is amazing with the supportive family and talented people. I mean, entrepreneurial, faithful, capitalistic. The India community is setting a standard, I think, here in the States that's hard to really duplicate or achieve in many ways. And I'm so impressed. And so the kids are going to be as successful and as sweet and as respectful as the parents are. So, and I love how the women they just how they gather together and they work so hard in helping each other. And a dear friend of ours, Raj Gupta from Massachusetts, he does all these fashion shows and Bollywood things, and the women come out and they support each other, and there's a lot of great businesses associated with that. So it's great to see. It really is.
That's nice. And do you see during this COVID time the domestic violence and issues numbers are going higher?
Absolutely. You're keeping people, basically essentially locked in their homes, and they can't get out, they can't interact, they can't go places. I mean, even like, I'm a minister, right? A person of faith. Can't go to your place of worship, and that's a place where, to pray, to meet with people, to look at, spiritual things, to not have that opportunity as well. I mean, it creates so many the kids can't go to school, they're stuck in the house, the pressures build. And yeah, unfortunately, there are reports, and many of them, that there's a lot of domestic violence, unfortunately.
So do we have enough mental health, people trained in this so that they could help the people around with mental health issues? Because that's on the rise.
No, we don't. Absolutely not. You know, one of the things that's terribly underfunded is our social services. And, I sat on the state, when I was a House of Representatives, member of the House of Representatives, I sat on the Committee for Health, Education, and Welfare. And I would hear so many stories and so many testimonies about the need for more money, things like even foster kids and social service agencies. Because unfortunately, too many families are broken families. You have a single mother, single woman with many times, especially in the minority communities, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. And it's multiple men that they've had these children with. And of course that creates its own dynamics because the kids aren't connected with each other. So, that's a challenge, and it reflects on their schooling and their choices going forward. And, so again, when I look at the India community as kind of a model of what we'd like every family to look like, and the achievement and everything, we need definitely more help. But even right now, in our own capital city, we have, I think it's over 200 languages are spoke in our capital city. It's unbelievable. So the different communities. And here's the thing, the achievement rate in public schools right now in the city of Providence, the state just took over the school system in our capital city, an 8 to 10% achievement rate in math and English. That's abysmal. And this has been going on for 30 years. How can you expect children to achieve, in those kind of circumstances? So the schools are not, unfortunately, able to do the job either.
So we are open to, I and Razia are open to doing something for the community, especially during this period. She has an NGO, I have an NGO, and we have the platform of Womenistan. So Womenistan is not just about the women, it's also about the men in our lives. Anyways, Womenistan has a man in it, the spelling itself. So we were thinking as if there is a possibility, if there is some way that we could, help out in your community and, join hands, and there is
working together, there is any kind of collaboration there.
Yes.
No, I appreciate that. And there was a and I hadn't had, because I left, unfortunately I got defeated my last attempt at the House of Representatives in Rhode Island, but there was a Boston Family Initiative, and it was a white paper that was done, and I think it was about 50 pages long, and I hadn't had a chance to delve into it, but it was Boston's attempt, and again, it wasn't implemented. It was an idea that was looked at, where they wanted to try to help families become more successful. Certainly, I think if I sat down with you and Raza and looked through that white paper, we might get some initial ideas about how we can help in the community. And I can send you both a copy of it. And, that's a starting point for sure, I think.
Yeah, and just to say that a couple of years back, like 9 to 10 years back, my older brother had partnered with Hillary Clinton for human trafficking for all over India.
Oh, that's it's funny you say that, because the child sex trafficking right now, I'm seeing more and more in the newspapers what a huge issue that's becoming. And
yes.
It's so sad. And families that are in poverty, whether it's Africa or wherever, many times the kids are not left with many options, and they don't realize what they're getting into. And there's these unscrupulous individuals, as you know, who just take advantage. And it's so heartbreaking. And I think Michelle Obama, of course, did some work with that as well. The current president's wife is working on a program called Be Best, but not focused on that specifically. But I think certainly a lot more work needs to be done, and a lot more funding needs to be directed. And that's why I'm so glad I know Raza and you as well, because when I win Congress in November, I'm going to have you ladies meet with me together, and we're going to work on something federally, and we're going to get some funding for it.
Inshallah. As I predicted, I think you are going to win this year.
Thank you. We're working hard, and with them stealing so many of my sons, and in fact, vandalizing my home last night with raw tomatoes and raw hot dogs last night. We're pelting my house, and many of my large signs got disappearing. I think we're making a few people worried. You're right. But I would love to work with both you ladies on an initiative when I win in November.
That we work on nice verticals like human trafficking and mental health.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So
Yes.
mental health is a issue that's very close to my heart too. In fact, I was invited to the UN in Delhi, and when I went there and I spoke to them, I gave a speech, and they said that you must work on mental health because that's what the need of the hour is. All the issues, all the different calamities, all the possible rapes or depression, everything boils down to mental health.
And
So-
right now, as you know, and as you asked earlier, the COVID-19 pandemic has just exacerbated that situation. And I think the mental health needs are off the charts right now. And many times we would turn to our places of worship, our spiritual places, but we can't even do that because a lot of them weren't allowed to reopen. So now you have nowhere to go. You can't even rely on your own higher power, God, or whatever. So that really makes it difficult.
Razia, I think I feel so good. I feel so blessed to have two wonderful people over here, and thank you for bringing us together. And I keep my fingers crossed, and I hope we all three can do some meaningful work for the society going forward.
Oh, I'd be so excited to work with you both. You just
I'm super
fabulous,
excited.
so talented. It'd be fantastic, and I look forward to it. I really do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on Turkmenistan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Namaste, salam. Thank you so much.